We're going to start with page 1 of the PowerPoint. Can you kind of tell us what this shows us?
So like I said before, this was kind of put into categories. So if you'll see the folders that are in the middle of the screen, one's titled Idolizing Mass Shooters, the second one is Planning a Mass Shooting, and the third one is Motive Seeking Fame. So these are the type of kind of the overview of categories that we're going to talk about.
So sort of a roadmap for your presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're going to start with idolizing mass shooters. As far as idolizing mass shooters, was the defendant part of any online community that in itself idolized mass shooters?
He was.
And what was that?
True crime community.
And how do you know he was a member of that based on your review of the evidence in this case?
Prior to the shooting, there were a lot of Discord messages, Tumblr accounts, Google records that talked about TCC, the true crime community, as well as after the shooting, it was still referenced in a lot of the jail calls.
Did the defendant spend a lot of time researching mass shooters?
He did.
I'm going to pull up our next slide. Is this a list of the majority of the mass shooters that he researched?
Yes, this is just kind of an overview of all of the mass shooter research that was found on different pieces of digital evidence in relation to the defendant, and this list is 22 listed, but there were more than that.
These are the ones that he spent the most time on?
Yes.
And how are they identified on this page?
They're identified by physical location and incident location, and not via the shooter's name.
How did he research these people?
A lot of the research mainly was found in the Google records, and then also there was within the true crime community, there were photos shared, different clips shared, different pieces of evidence shared amongst members that was in relation to different mass shooters.
Did he save any of this information that he researched anywhere, like on his phone or his computer or within his Discord?
Yes, there were many different pieces of evidence saved on his phone, his Discord, and his computer extraction, with that being anything from photos, videos, incident reports, crime scene videos, lots of different pieces of evidence.
And when he's researching these people, is he also Googling things related to them?
Yes, he is.
Can you give us an example of some of the Google terms that he used to search for these mass shooters?
Yes, there were several different Google accounts, and within those, there's a search history, and so within the search history, there's a lot of different terms. So this is kind of just a short couple things that he Googled, the defendant Googled: shooter caught on police body cam, Dallas police ambush, unstable veteran opening fire in a crowded bar, soldiers of Christ torture during initiation. Let me see the other ones. Extended dash cam video of man plowing through parade, Uvalde school shooting video, how to get kicked out of a gun range, cell phone footage of the first shots fired at Route 91 Harvest Festival, 911 Sandy Hook calls, plea for help, Parkland shooter, I love to see the families suffer, and Maine gunman's body.
Okay, so you mentioned that he saved some of this research on his phone or his computer. Did that include saving pictures?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to move to the next slide and just kind of tell us what this is.
This is just a collection of photos that were found on his Discord and phone extraction, and this is just a kind of a compilation of all of the different mass shooters.
And I'm going to zoom in on one in particular. Can you tell us what this is?
So this is, it says your result on there with the name of one of the Columbine shooters. And this was a result of, he took a quiz called What True Crime Personality Are You? And that was taken on September 3rd, which was the day before the shooting. And this was the result that he got and saved to his phone.
Was September 3rd a school day?
It was, and this was saved at around 1 p.m., so it would have been during the school day.
And was he at school?
He was not.
Now, we just showed the court a list of all the different mass shooters that he researched. Were there 4 in particular that he researched the most?
There were.
Okay, and who were they?
The 3 that we talk about here the Parkland shooter, the Sandy Hook shooter, and then the Buffalo shooter.
Okay. And then do we also talk about the Aurora theater shooter?
We do.
Okay. So we're going to start with the first one that he researched extensively, which is the Parkland shooter. And just for clarification, what is the Parkland shooter's name?
Nicholas Cruz.
And how does he spell the Nicholas? Was it with a CK or with a K?
With a K.
Okay. What kind of type of evidence are we going to start with in talking about the defendant's idolization of the Parkland shooter?
The first category is listed evidence of obsession. So basically things that show or prove that he was obsessed essentially with the shooter. And that could range from different messages or photos or things that he saved.
And was this obsession with the Parkland shooter, was the time frame for that, did that lead up into the shooting on September 4th?
Yes.
All right, we're going to show this page. Tell us what this shows us.
This is just specifically from the defendant's Discord. So these are photographs of the Parkland shooter that were saved and shared specifically on the defendant's Discord account.
Okay. I know this is showing up as one page, but were these individual photos saved on the defendant's phone? I mean, saved on the defendant's Discord, and we just reproduced them in one page?
That's correct.
Okay. Was this all of the photos that he had of the Parkland shooter that he had on Discord?
No.
Were there a lot more?
There were a lot more.
And then tell us about this page.
These were ones that were specifically saved on the defendant's cell phone. And again, this is just a small collection of photos in comparison to the amount that he had on the cell phone.
Did he have over 2,000 pictures of the Parkland shooter saved on his phone?
Yes.
In addition to having these pictures on his phone and on his Discord, did he also have pictures of the Parkland shooter printed out at his house?
He did. There were 16 photographs that were printed out and on his bedroom wall.
And this time we're going to go ahead and show you that. And so can you just, this is going to be listed as Exhibit 343. Do you recognize this?
Yes, this is the collection of the 16 photographs that were on his wall, and this is actually an exact measurement of it displayed on his wall.
Are these the exact photos that were found on his wall?
They are the exact photos.
And then they were placed on this to show the exact placement of what his wall looked like the day of the shooting?
That's correct.
All right, this time I'd like to introduce the evidence, Exhibit 343.
Mr. Allen. Any objection?
No objection.
It's admitted.
Did he also take pictures of himself in front of the shrine?
He did.
And what did he do with those pictures?
He shared them on his Discord account.
Okay. When was the first photograph of the shrine taken?
It was the first photograph of the shrine with the defendant was taken August 9th of 2024, which was approximately 25 days before the shooting.
And based on your review of the digital evidence, did that shrine appear to remain on the wall from August 9th all the way up until September 4th?
It did.
So you mentioned that he took pictures and shared them on Discord. Is this one of the times he shared a photo on Discord?
Yes, this was shared on August 28th of 2024. And then you see to the left is an actual photo, the photo that he shared from his bedroom.
Okay, and this is, he shared it with Mandy. As far as what he told Mandy, can you tell us that about this photo?
Yes, so his Discord name was Occasional Burner, so he's the one in the blue at the bottom. He says, "My mom's in rehab, so it's just my dad, and he knows not to question what I do."
Okay. And then is this another photo that he took that he shared with Mandy?
Yes, this is another photo that he shared on Discord on September 3rd, the day before the shooting.
Okay. In addition to having all these photos saved and these photos printed out, what other evidence of the defendant's obsession with the Parkland shooter did you find?
Yes, there were lots of other research materials that were viewed and saved on his cell phone, Discord, and computer.
Okay. And so does this page show the different types of research that he did on his cell phone or on his Discord?
Yes, it does.
Okay, can you just kind of read through what exactly he had either saved on his computer or that he researched?
Yes, on the left-hand side, investigative summary of shooters' cell phone contents and internet searches, surveillance videos of the Parkland shooting, visited website for shooters' police interrogations to view interrogations and took screenshots, saved a minimum of 2,664 photos of shooter. That was specifically from February of 2024 until the shooting. Watched each day of the shooter's sentencing trial that happened in October of 2023. Watched YouTube video titled "Parkland Shooter Faked Psychiatric Symptoms After Shooting," expert says. And then on the right-hand side are what's in quotes is what he Googled, specifically Google searches. Nicholas Cruz faking psychiatric symptoms, Cruz's premeditated aggression and violence, autopsy photos for Parkland victims, Parkland shooter, I love to see the families suffer, Nicholas Cruz's love letters from jail, Nicholas Cruz's planned a mass murder, viewed article titled "Psychiatrist Probes Parkland Shooter's Mind," watched documentary "Behind the Madness" about Parkland shooter and shooter's writings while in custody and during trial.
Okay, so as far as the investigative summary of the shooter's cell phone contents, the surveillance videos, are those the actual surveillance videos from the Parkland shooting that showed the shooting, and is that the actual investigative summary that law enforcement did regarding the Parkland shooter's cell phone contents?
Yes, it is.
You also have on there that he watched each day of the shooter's sentencing trial in October of 2023. How long did he watch it? Did he watch it from October of 2023 until a later date?
The evidence from the Google record showed every single day in October, and then all the way up until February of 2024 at the very least.
And as far as the records that from his computer, what is kind of the first date of the records that we have from his computer?
I believe October of 2023.
Okay. So he's watching the trial essentially every day in October and then continues to watch it up until February of 2024?
Yes, that's correct.
What grade was the defendant in at this time?
He would have been in 8th grade.
And was he in school at all that year?
He was not.
Okay. And at that time, where was he living?
He was living with his father in Barrow County, and his father had sole custody of him at that time.
Now, in addition to all of this research, does he also talk about the Parkland shooter extensively on Discord?
Yes.
And what time frame do we have Discord records from?
These are from August 28th until the day before the shooting, September 3rd.
So this 2024 time frame is when his username is Occasional Burner. Who is he talking with about the Parkland shooter?
A user identified as Mandy.
Now, kind of what I'd like to do here is that you will identify the date and time of the Discord record, and if you want to read the defendant's Discord, and I can read Mandy's, so that we can kind of go through them for the court.
Sure. So on the left-hand side, you see the date with a timestamp. This timestamp also is in what's called UTC time, which is Universal Time Coordinated. It's a standard time used kind of to regulate clocks around the world. So almost all digital evidence comes in UTC, so we have to convert it to Eastern Standard Time, which is typically -4 during this time frame. So it's -4 hours. So for example, this would be the first one would be August 28, 2024 at 11:42 a.m.
And if you want to read those first two messages.
Yes, ma'am. If you don't have multiple pictures of him sprayed across your wall, a multitude of archives related to him, and not having him be the sole reason you're still alive, you're like fake as fuck. At least that's my quite diluted philosophy regarding the type of love you have to have towards Nick.
Okay. And then about 2 hours later, Mandy says, do you have any hobbies aside from games?
He responds, shooting, Nick, people watching. That's about it.
And it looks like about 5 hours after that, he makes another comment.
It seems like any inspiration/motivation I have always ties back to Nick.
And again, was this August 28th, a school day?
Yes, it was.
And was he at school that day or at home?
He was not at school that day.
Okay, we're going to move to, looks like more Discord from August 28th. Approximately what time is this?
This would be around 7:16 p.m.
Okay. And if you want to go ahead and start reading those records.
Like, it's weird, but I feel like they only see him for that and not for who he is as a person. I think a lot about him being forgotten and just a number, as the victim said. I've cried thinking about it. So I promised myself and him I'd never leave his side.
Yeah, when I watched the impact statements, I had so many panic attacks because, like, why do they feel the need to be so hateful?
If it wasn't for Nick, I would have blown my brains out months ago. I know, right? So inhumane.
Like begging for him to get raped and killed, WTF.
But I saw him and my heart and people say Nick's the monster.
Now we're moving to more records from August 29th. Around what time do these start?
So this actually would have been 11:46 p.m. or 11:45 p.m. on the 28th going into the 29th. So
Midnight, we start around midnight on August 29th.
Yes.
So, and Mandy starts with LMAO, how long have you liked him? I forgot.
For like almost a year now. I've known about him for years, but I had different hyperfixations at the time. But when I found Nick, literally everything connected, and I haven't left since. I'll say it, I've masturbated thinking about Nick.
And then it looks like we moved to later on in the day, on August 29th, and Mandy says, if you had to pick one person to be with and only them forever, who would it be?
Like killer-wise?
I mean, just in general, TBH. Like, if you had to pick one person in this world to be with forever.
I mean, Nick, of course. Who else?
And then now more messages from August 29th. And is this around midnight of the 30th?
It's around midnight of the 29th.
Or it's going into the 30th?
Yes.
All right, and can you go ahead and read those messages?
Sent video. I cried making this, slightly.
Well, I just cried.
What?
That shit made me tear up.
Oh, I didn't think it would touch you like that.
Great edit, though.
It's hard for me to go back to it because it does the same to me. I need to make more like emotional edits of Nick. I like him.
As far as, so they're talking about making emotional edits of Nick. What is an edit?
Essentially, it's just taking a video and making it your own, whether that means adding photos to it, adding text messages to it, adding music to it, just any kind of thing that you can alter to make it your own.
Okay. And he talks about making an edit. Is there an edit that he sent related to this conversation?
Yes.
Okay. And at this time, we're going to play that video edit that the defendant made.
Emergency. When did this occur? How long ago?
Okay, now we're moving to September 2nd, which is 2 days before the shooting. Can you take us through these messages?
Yeah, so this started at 1:41 p.m. No one gets Nick. He shot up a school and did it finally, if that's a word.
Real. 17 out of 17 ratio is wild in GL.
Nah, for real. I think about that so much. And also with how autistic he was, how formal he looked doing it. I feel like your brain just goes autopilot. Nick gives me so much motivation to keep going.
In addition to these Discord records, did he also have some stuff on his phone that showed this obsession with Cruz?
Yes, he did.
So tell us about this.
So this is what's considered notes from a phone extraction. So these are notes that were created by the defendant on his phone.
And when did he create this?
This was created April 2nd of 2024.
And when was it modified?
It was modified on August 2nd of 2024.
And what does he say?
He says, Nick, I don't know how much longer I'll be around for or if I'll even go through with it, but please know I love you. You won't see this. In fact, I know you won't see this, but when we meet, run into my arms, hold me tight, don't let go. Love, Colt.
Did he also attempt, or did the defendant also attempt to write to Cruz while Cruz was in custody?
Yes, he did.
Did he, before actually sending him an email, did he send a draft of that email to anyone on Discord?
Yes, this was sent to Mandy, and like you said, it was a draft of what he was going to send.
And when did he send that to her?
On August 28th of 2024.
Can you tell us what was in the letter that he ultimately did send to Cruz?
He said, all right, I'm happy with this. I'm really nervous, I know, odd introduction, right? Anyway, I'm a Colt and I'm 18. I know you've gone through a lot mentally, so I'll keep it short. I don't know. But just know I'm here, like genuinely. I really do care about you, Nick. I'm trying my best not to make it awkward. Sorry if I come off as such. I'll make sure to add a return stamp for every email I send you.
When the defendant sent this email to Cruz in custody, did it actually ultimately get to him?
It did not.
And why not?
It was labeled as harassment and returned to the sender.
After the defendant attempted to send this letter or this email to Cruz, what happened?
So he began messaging someone that identified themselves as Cruz's cellmate.
And did Cruz's alleged cellmate reach out to the defendant after this email was sent?
Yes,
Okay. And do they have a rather lengthy conversation?
they do.
And is that on the defendant's cell phone?
It was, yes.
What's the time frame of that conversation?
I believe it was September 2nd until the early morning hours of the shooting.
And I'm going to start. And kind of as we've been doing, if you want to read what the defendant writes, and I can read what the alleged cellmate writes.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, kind of tell us what time does it start.
So this is September 2nd at 8:28 p.m. It says, honestly, went over everything related to Nick and wanted to reach out.
Yes, I mean, to be honest, what normal person would want to write him and get to know him on a romantic level, LOL. He even know that insane, that's the funny part.
But honestly, I can relate to his trauma, but like romantically, I don't know, he doesn't want that. Honestly though, if you're up to it, let Nick know I'm not fake ASF, no pressure though. Wonder if he feels bad, like, about the shooting.
He does talk about that a lot. He is not proud of what he has done. That's not good though to like someone that did those horrible things.
I agree.
And not know him outside of that, I mean.
They did pretty well going through he life during the trial. Well, is he around? Sigh. Hey, y'all got news in there?
Yes.
Just making sure.
And about how long is this before the shooting?
This was around 9 p.m. on the 2nd, so a little over a day. Hope you can stay in contact until the 4th. Got something I want to show you, and Nikki, honestly. Yeah, gotta prepare for prison myself. Hey, can you and Nick be up around 8 to 9 a.m.?
And what time are we at now?
This is midnight, around midnight on the 4th, on the day of the shooting. I've got my surprise ready.
Is it still midnight the day of the shooting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'll have my tablet.
Well, I guess Nick will know either way. Has he said anything?
Oh yes, I said you were funny and seemed cool so far.
Thanks, dude. At least he's got my name.
What's the surprise mystery, man? LOL.
You'll see.
And ultimately, do we know who the person he was texting was?
No, there were search warrants done, and it just was someone using a fake number.
All right, so moving to our next slide, what's our next kind of type of evidence we're going to talk about related to the defendant's obsession of the Parkland shooter?
Evidence of mimicry.
What do you mean by evidence of mimicry?
Essentially copying someone else, whether that be mannerisms, with words, with movements, with any type of thing where you're imitating someone or trying to mirror someone else.
And in this context, is it specifically mimicry of other mass shooters?
It is, yes.
Within the TCC community, based on your research and your training and experience, what is the purpose of an individual mimicking another school shooter or mass shooter?
Based on my research, it could be one of two things. One, showing the specific mass shooter, their admiration or love for that person, and or the second thing, just gaining traction within TCC to get some sort of fame out of it.
What's kind of the first way that the defendant mimicked Cruz?
Through photographs.
All right, we're going to start with this first photograph. Tell us about this slide.
So this slide on the very top is from Discord from August 28th of 2024. He says, help, I forgot I took this. I tried to replicate Nick's face thingy in the mirror. So on the bottom left-hand side is the Parkland shooter's photograph that was saved on the defendant's phone and computer and Discord. And the photograph on the right is a photo that the defendant created back in July of 2024. And these were shared with Mandy on Discord.
And as far as the picture on the left and the picture on the right, were those both shared with Mandy at the same time when he's talking about, I tried to replicate Nick's face thingy.
Yes.
And then is this another photo that he mimicked of Cruz?
Yes, again, the one on the left is the Parkland shooter, and that was saved on different places, and then the one on the right is one that was taken by the defendant on August 3rd of 2024.
All right, and tell us about this slide.
This slide is on the left-hand side is the Parkland shooter, and this was actually from a specific Google search that was conducted. Parkland shooter tugs at collar, and then the picture on the right was a picture created by the defendant in the defendant's room on May 31st of 2024.
And was that something that Cruz specifically did during his sentencing hearing or his sentencing trial?
It was, yes.
And tell us about this photo.
So the very top one, there were a selection of prison writings that were collected by the defendant, saved to his cell phone and computer. And it was saved as a whole, but then also there were snips of specific sentences from those prison writings. So this one in particular was a snip that was saved on his phone just like that, like you see here. And it says, I also like girls with red hair and a positive outlook on life. And that was saved on April 3rd of 2024. And then the bottom one is a photograph that the defendant took on August 3rd of 2024.
And is it him with red hair?
It is, appears to be.
Okay, so obviously we've talked a lot about the TCC today, specifically with baby photos. How is that something that's important within the TCC?
It seemed to me that they value the other mass shooters' lives, and so they will try to save a collection of photographs of them at different stages of life, starting with when they were younger. So the defendant not only had the Parkland shooter's baby photograph saved on his devices, but several other mass shooters saved on his devices. And the picture on the right is of the defendant and was saved to his cell phone and then shared with Mandy on Discord with a collection of photos on September 2nd, which was 2 days before. The collection of photos that he saved were selfies, along with the baby picture, and told Mandy, just in case. I want you to have these just in case.
So essentially he sent these pictures to her 2 days before the shooting and was saying, just in case.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about how that you have, prior to today, listened to a lot of jail calls between the defendant and his mother. Kind of, is Marcy Gray who he talked to most in the months after the shooting?
Yes.
About how long did they talk?
I would say from the shooting up until February of 2025. Maybe there were a couple months here and there, but then I think after that, they started back for a few months, but then it was very limited after that.
And was it limited because she was essentially not allowed to talk to him at some point?
That's correct.
Okay. But mostly mostly the defendant is calling her and talking to her in this 6 to 9 months after the shooting.
Yes.
Okay. When was their first call?
So their first call was October 1st of 2024, and we received all of these calls from YDC, and in the first call, it's kind of a lengthy call, but it talks about asking her to look up his name on Tumblr, Tumlook, and along with TCC, and they kind of talk about all the different mass shooters he's being compared to, and essentially every call after that is referencing that in some way, shape, or form.
And so we have October 1st here, and this is State's Exhibits 267 and 268. So he's talking to her, and you said that kind of the first conversation is him getting her to look up stuff about him online. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's go ahead and play that clip.
Huh?
Do you have any data?
Yes, we got it back today. You want me to look anything up for you?
Yeah, Nikki, and then go to the news section.
Okay.
And don't say, these are reported, so
Oh, yes. Okay, let's see.
just block out the name or something.
Let's see. We'll say latest news. Let's see. Oh my God. Here's the latest news fact. He recently agreed to donate his brain to
Oh,
science.
yeah, okay. So that's the recent one? Yeah.
Let's see.
What part of anything pertaining to Nikki? Because I have quite a few sessions with them, so.
I know. Well, now that I got the internet back, I'll do some deep digging.
Who's up with my name, Mary?
Let's see.
You go to tumblr.com.
Yeah, come on here.
TUMLOOK.com.
L-O-O-K. Homework?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, homework.com.
You see the search bar?
Hang on. Say it again?
Tumblr.com.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Homework. Okay. Search.
Okay. My name and then PCC at the end.
Your name?
Yeah, and then
PCC.
it's only PCC. We'll see this.
Oh, God. PCC?
Yeah, TCC.
PCC.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Read off post.
Okay, so the blogs at the top say Party F Rocca.
Oh my gosh, read the post. I know her.
Okay, sorry. Kip Tinkle with my blood. I know what I'm doing. It might seem insane to some people, but blood art is a thing. I don't know. Oh yeah, there you are. Well, it's the the hashtag. Oh, okay, here's the next one. Breaking news. Here's the latest on the investigation. And it's got like a screenshot out of an article. And then it says, Dad got arrested probably because the gun was his and he was aware of what his son's past actions and comments were.
Okay, just keep scrolling. You're on the blog, see the post.
I am. Let's see. Sorry, I'm reading through them. Could you repost the cult drawing? Oh, they have a cult drawing. Oh, it's got this drawing is awesome. Fan art.
What is it? Is it me?
Oh my God, it looks so
I love
awesome.
this community so much.
Oh my God, I'll definitely print this out and bring it to you.
Okay, keep scrolling.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to unpack that a little bit. So essentially, he is directing her where to go, and she's scrolling through articles. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
And she's kind of telling him what she sees from what she searches. Is that what they essentially do every time they talk on the phone?
Yes.
And is it generally related to the defendant and him being a mass shooter?
Yes.
Okay. Is it related to how popular he is as a mass shooter?
Yes.
Okay. At the very end of that call, he gets very excited about the fact that there's fan art about him. What exactly is fan art?
Within the TCC, they can create different, like the edit we saw earlier in the video, create different edits like that, or create different visual representations of mass shooters in different drawings and different media.
And did he have on his phone fan art of other mass shooters as well?
Yes, he did.
Okay. So this is kind of the setup for how they talk on every call. And previously you mentioned that the defendant sent selfies to Mandy on Discord and said, just in case. Did those selfies ever get released by Mandy?
They did.
Okay. And does he talk about that in any of his jail calls?
Yes, he does.
And what was his attitude about those selfies being released?
He was excited.
What?
Here's some pictures of you.
What?
These see pictures of you posted online or something. It's,
Okay, so we're gonna take selfies?
yes, there are a bunch of things. It says,
Oops. Sorry. So he's excited about these selfies being released. That was from October 9th, so that's about a month and 5 days after the shooting. And that was posted at 272. Okay, in addition to this photo mimicry, was there other mimicry that he did related to the cruise?
Yes, there were.
Okay. And what's our next kind of evidence of mimicry?
Journal entries.
And are these journal entries the Parkland shooter and then also the defendant's journal entries?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's start with our first journal entry. Tell us what is here on the left.
On the left-hand side is a journal entry that was from the Parkland shooter. This was located on the defendant's computer on October 14th of 2023. And then on the right-hand side is a drawing from the defendant that was found in a yellow spiral notebook at his home address.
Okay, and as far as similarities, kind of tell us what is similar about these two, or that shows some mimicry between the defendant and the Parkland shooter.
So the first one, you see the red box around the stick drawing, a similar face, backwards hat, with essentially a gun in their hand. The second one is, you can see it's there clearly as a whole. There's the word school, there's the word teacher. So this is a school desk that was drawn with a student sitting at the desk.
And then moving to our next journal mimicry, tell us about this page.
Again, the one on the left is from the Parkland shooter located on the defendant's computer, October 14th of 2023. The one on the right, again, is found in the yellow spiral notebook at his house. And so there's a couple different similarities here. So the first red box is around a tactical vest. So it's drawn in a similar manner, just in general, talking about a vest. The second one is the words SS now, which is a Nazi reference. And then the third one is a round count, so like a ammunition round count.
And then here's our next journal entry, our final journal entry for Cruz and the defendant.
This particular one on the left-hand side was from the defendant's cell phone extraction. It was saved April 19th of 2024, and it says, pull, 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 pull the trigger. You will win, just don't be stupid and keep your mouth shut. And the one on the right was in that same yellow spiral notebook. At the top, it just says breathe, pull, 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 reload, click. So they both reference pulling and talking about pulling the trigger.
And then our next piece of mimicry for the defendant and Cruz is what?
Phone notes that were found in the defendant's cell phone.
Okay. And kind of starting with the Cruz's phone note, you mentioned earlier that he had an investigative summary of the defendant's cell phone. Is that what this is?
It is, yes.
Okay, so this was saved on his phone, on the defendant's phone.
Yes.
And what does this note say, and when was it written?
This note was written December 30th of 2017, and it was actually accessed by by the defendant on his cell phone as late as September 4th, the day of the shooting at 8:10 a.m. And it says, control your breathing and trigger pull. You're the one who sights in the rifle for yourself. Adjust the scope to your shooting ability. Keep that adjustment every time. You have to shoot to yourself only, to oneself. My trigger squeeze is my one's ability. Same thing every time. And the one on the left was accessed on September 4th. That's the latest time it was accessed, but it was still on his computer, extraction, and phone well before that.
Okay.
And then the note on the right, again, is from the cell phone extraction. It was created April 2nd of 2024, and it's titled Mantra, and it says, breathe in, pull, 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 breathe out. If it jams, take the magazine out, cock it back, insert the magazine, repeat. So they both have similarities in breathing and then, again, pulling the trigger.
In phone notes, are they something that, for lack of a better term, gain traction within this TCC if they get released?
Yes.
All right, so our next piece of mimicry with the defendant is what?
Interviews.
And this is an interview that Cruz did along with the defendant's interview?
It is, yes.
Okay. So did the defendant talk about listening to Cruz's interview?
He did on his Discord account.
So here we have Mandy, this is from August 29th of 2024. Mandy talks about how she's watched the interrogation 7 times, all 10 hours, and then rewatches it a few more times every year. And what does he say in response to that?
He says 7. I'm at like 8.5. I'm like halfway through on my 8th time at the moment. So real. It seems like I always catch something new.
And so he had sounds like a working knowledge of that interview. In reviewing the defendant's interview in conjunction with Cruz's interview, were there any similarities between the two?
Yes, there were several similarities.
Okay, and what's the first one that kind of stands out?
So this is kind of put into like a chart view. So on the left-hand side is the Parkland shooter interview, what was said, and on the right is the defendant's interview. And the first kind of category is voices. So on the Parkland shooter said, the voice is in me. And the defendant said, I just hear them sometimes inside. It's mostly kind of like whisper. It's always inside. The second one, the Parkland shooter says, just a voice with no name telling me what to do. And the defendant says, I don't even want to say fighting off these things, but it was more of like hoping that the facility and these brainwaves and stuff that are completely just making me do. I've threatened, I've said in the past month that I've never said. The Parkland shooter discussed the voice telling him to commit the school shooting throughout his interview. And then the defendant said, was asked what made it today, and he answers, I was told via waves. It was a multitude of people that it was going to be sometime soon. It was either going to be possibly today or tomorrow. In the Parkland shooter's interview, the question was, do you always obey what the voices tell you to do? And the Parkland shooter answered, I try not to. And the defendant was asked, when these voices are talking, do you ever agree with them? And his answer was no, not at all.
In addition to this kind of very similar discussion of voices, was there another similarity between the two interviews that jumped out?
Yes, and this one was titled Disassociation. So the Parkland shooter says it's blank when he asked how he got to the school. And the defendant said, I completely just became decentralized through all of it. I came back and I was on the floor. And the Parkland shooter's interview, he said, I can't remember anything. And then when the defendant was asked, do you remember how many shots you fired? He answers, I can't remember. I'm sorry. Really, really anything.
And earlier today, Mr. Smith played some jail calls with the Dr. Richards. Did any of those jail calls show that the defendant was not disassociated?
Yes, there was a couple where his mother was reading an article about something that was said about the shooting, and he responds basically saying that's not true. I wasn't banging on the door, different situations like that.
And then that's our last piece of evidence of mimicry, and now we're going to move to kind of evidence of planning related to Cruz. Kind of tell us what we're going to talk about here.
So we're going to go through the Discord messages again and some jail calls and some phone notes in reference to showing the planning of the shooting.
Okay. And again, during the defendant's interview, he gives a reason for why he chose September 4th. And that was what?
In the interview?
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall exactly what was said.
I mean, related to voices telling him, is that accurate?
Yes, yes.
And we'll play that clip real quick.
Over the past few months that you've been thinking about shooting up the school and killing people, what made it today?
Today, I was told the ways, I don't know, it was something that I know was, I heard, it was a multitude of people, that it was going to be sometime soon. It was.
So during your review of the evidence, did it appear there was a different reason why he chose September 4th other than the voices told him?
Yes, there was.
And what was that reason?
A surprise for Nick or for Nick's birthday.
Okay. And we've already kind of gone over some of these messages, but we have a few more that we didn't review with Mr. or Dr. Richards. From August 31st, can you tell us, are these kind of talking through why he chose September 4th?
Yes.
Okay. We'll start with Mandy. This is around, looks like midnight. Did you ever do anything on Nick's B-Day? IDK, why I asked, but just curious.
Made a cake for him. I have plans this next time, though. It's so close, isn't it?
Yeah, 26 almost. My baby getting old. What you gonna do?
Like for his birthday, I want to make it special for him. I hope we're in contact by then.
And when is Cruz's birthday?
September 24th.
Okay. And what else does he say about this date of September 4th?
So these messages are on September 2nd.
And Mandy starts with, I'm worried that this is going to push you to do something on September 4th.
Meh, not really. Fun fact, September 4th is a Wednesday, the same weekday that was on February 14th. And February 14th was the date of the Parkland shooting.
Okay. I know previously in a message it talked about how September 4th is a Wednesday, and then also February 14th was a Wednesday. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then there was a message where this was a surprise for Nick.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then did he also have a phone note about sort of this September time frame?
He did.
And that was from when?
This was dated July 24th of 2024, and it says, if everything goes, I'll probably take September as my exit. I'll use August to scope everything out. This shouldn't happen, but if I somehow end up doing it in September, just know this wasn't the date I had originally planned.
Based on the kind of Discord messages you reviewed, what was his original date that he intended to do this?
In February.
Was he trying to do it the same day that Cruz did his shooting?
Yes.
Okay, and so in terms of evidence of planning related to Cruz, kind of tell us about this phone note.
This note was titled Prison, and it was July 26th of 2024. It says, God, I hope they move me to the Wakulla facility in Florida whenever I'm 18. Hell, move me there now.
And who was at that facility?
The Parkland shooter.
Okay. Now, okay, tell us why this is in the planning section. What does it show?
Because this was back in the end of July of 2024, and it's essentially showing that he's going to be going to prison or doing something that's going to cause him to be in prison.
Does it also indicate that he was planning on surviving whatever he did?
Yes.
Okay, and tell us about this.
So in terms of we just talked about going to prison. There was also this edit that was shared with Mandy on Discord on August 29th of 2024, and it references also prison.
Did the defendant, when he edited that ad, see you send Nick to that?
He did.
Okay, so that was the end of us talking about his idolization of the Parkland shooter. What's the next shooter that we're going to talk about that he idolized?
The Sandy Hook shooter.
Okay. And okay. So again, we're going to kind of start with that evidence of obsession. What time frame was the defendant obsessed with the Sandy Hook shooter?
Going back as far as we have the record, so back from October of 2023 until the day of the shooting.
Okay. And did he also have photos of him on his Discord or on his phone?
He did.
Okay. And are these some of those photos?
Yes, just a short collection of them.
And then did he also research and kind of the same way he did the Parkland shooter, items specifically related to the Sandy Hook shooting?
Yes.
And can you take us through the stuff that he researched?
Yes, so the Sandy Hook shooting 911 call, shooter's Discord chat logs, and these are things that he actually had saved, not just Googling it. These are items actually saved. Sandy Hook investigative report, video of search warrant execution of shooter's house, shooter's death certificate, shooter's daily schedule, Sandy Hook after action report, shooter's writings and school records, which was 1,448 pages, report of the Office of the Child Advocate for Sandy Hook, transcript of the shooter's audio recordings, shooter's spreadsheet that details mass shootings since the 1700s, timeline of the shooter's life, which was 34 pages, typed document authored by the shooter, which was 8 pages, and videos from the shooter's YouTube channel.
And again, is that the actual 911 call that was made by someone from Sandy Hook?
Yes, it was.
And then is that the actual investigative report that the law enforcement did after the investigation into Sandy Hook?
Yes, it was.
And then the search warrant execution of the shooter's house, is that a video of the shooter's residence after the crime was committed?
Yes, it appears as like a crime scene investigator took a video during the search warrant and going through all the evidence in the house.
Are there any jail calls where he talks about his obsession with the Sandy Hook shooter with his mother?
Yes, this next jail call is from October 13th of 2024.
Okay, and this is Exhibit 280, and we're going to go ahead and play that.
One guy from 6 hours ago, and it says anonymous asked, he saw Adam on couch telling Colt to go get him another beer. There's just like a pencil drawing of y'all, and it says, he's saying, go get me another beer, and it looks like you're crying.
I have to say that one, please. Why are they saying Adam? God, they find the Adam obsession, remember?
There's not any no comments yet on that one.
Do you ever think your son would be like drawn with like a fucking Adam lens?
No, I've never imagined it in my life.
Well, I think you would have said
I think I'm training out like all of these pictures because seriously they are extremely cute.
Okay, so this is approximately a month and a half after the shooting. And is it accurate that he appears to be excited that he got drawn with Adam Lanza?
Yes, he does.
Okay. So now we're going to move to evidence of mimicry between the defendant and the Sandy Hook shooter. Okay, so we're going to start with, again,
Photographs.
photos. Tell us about this one.
On the left-hand side, this was a photograph that was shared on Discord by the defendant on May 20th of 2023. And then the one on the right is a photograph that was found on the defendant's phone. I know that it was taken prior to July of 2024 because that's when his hair was dyed.
In addition to that, was there kind of a specific mimicry that the defendant did related to Lanza that he did not do with the Parkland shooter?
Yes, in reference to the crime scene.
Okay. And Mr. Smith talked about this a little bit with Dr. Richards, but kind of tell us what exactly he mimicked.
So on the left-hand side is the Sandy Hook shooter. These are screenshots that that I took of the specific crime scene video that was on the defendant's computer. He accessed it November 19th of 2023, and it's a photograph of the Sandy Hook shooter's computer tower, and it was destroyed. The hard drive was destroyed, and then you can see on the right-hand side is a picture from the defendant's room the morning of the shooting. You can see that the hard drive was taken out and the tower was destroyed, and there's also screwdrivers laying out and tools just like in the Sandy Hook shooters.
Okay. And during his interview, the defendant indicated that he did that because he was paranoid. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And during jail calls, does there appear to be a different reason why he actually destroyed his computer?
Yes.
And what was that?
To be like Lanza.
And this is a jail call from October 12th. It states that at 279 between the defendant and his mother, and we'll play that clip.
Next comment, how could anyone look at this kid twice and think that he was just like Lanza, in quotes? I guess people have been saying that.
What's in my room that you can really see the computer on the floor?
And then what's our next form of mimicry that we're going to look at?
Motive.
And kind of what time frame are we talking about where he is mimicking Lanza's motive in committing a mass shooting?
Going all the way back to 2023.
And is that kind of the May 2023 time frame?
It is, yes.
Where was he in school at that time?
He was in Jefferson City Schools.
Okay. So we're going to start with some Discord records that show this, and this is from May 19th of 2023. Can you tell us, can you read through these for us?
Yeah, so this is his Discord, like you said, from 2023, so there's a different username. He says, I'd print a shirt with Adam on it, easy, and under it say, for Adam, or some shit, because I feel like Adam had a logical reason to kill those kids. It's morbid, but think of the suffering they would endure later in life. So in reality, he did a good deed, right? What if we die and we see Adam in the distance and he says, you have done well?
And at this time, when he's talking about committing a mass shooting, is he talking about committing it to an elementary school like Lanza did?
Yes.
Okay. And are there some fun notes that kind of also talk about that same motive?
Yes, these are both from the defendant's phone extraction in the notes section. The one on the left was created April 28th of 2024. And it says, I hate my generation so much. The amount of brain rot I'm subjected to is almost unbearable. It hurts to see a politically inclined 11-year-old with 5 pronouns and 15 neo-pronouns and the Palestine flag in their bio. I want to see them dead. I want to see them laying on the floor in a pool of blood. And then the one on the right, a little less than a month later, on May 17th, 2024, it's titled On Adam. Sigh. Before I start, I want to preface it like this. I used to be a huge Adam fanboy, a fan of both his writings and him as a person. And yeah, I kind of just lost interest. Shocker. But as my hatred grows, I realize how much of it ties into him. I hate the idea of people my age becoming full-fledged.
All right, so that finishes our section on the Sandy Hook shooter. Who's the next shooter that he idolized and mimicked?
The Buffalo shooter, known as Peyton Gendron.
Okay. And we'll talk briefly about some evidence of his obsession with him. Again, does he have lots of photos of him on his phone?
Yes, on his Discord and his phone.
Okay. And did he also do a lot of research on him?
He did. For the Buffalo shooter, there was a Discord transcript. For the shooter, was the shooter's manifesto, pictures, list of writing on the shooter's gun, a shooter criminal complaint, and an earnest manifesto.
Okay. And is there evidence of mimicry that's related to the Buffalo shooter?
There is, yes.
And again, are there some, at least a photo that he mimicked?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start with that. Tell us about this slide.
So the one on the left is the Buffalo shooter, was saved by the defendant August 18th of 2024. And then the ones on the right are of the defendant, both of them, and they were located on the defendant's cell phone.
Okay. What's the next kind of mimicry that the defendant did related to the Buffalo shooter?
The writing on the gun.
Okay. Tell us about this piece of evidence.
This is one of the notes that was saved on the defendant's cell phone. It's titled On Gun. And this was the creation time was May 11th, 2024. And this is a list of essentially things to write on the gun that were also written on the Buffalo shooter's gun, some of them.
And what's the type of writing that he has on here? Like, what is kind of the general idea of the words that he's...
Hate speech, racist propaganda.
Okay. And you indicated that the title is On Gun. At this time, did the defendant have the rifle that he used to commit the school shooting on September 4th?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And specifically, this 1352, was that on the Buffalo shooter's gun?
It was, yes.
And is that also racist propaganda?
It is.
Okay. As far as on the defendant's gun, well, first we'll start with where it was written on the Buffalo shooter's gun. Is that the 1352 we were just referencing?
It is, yes, ma'am.
Is that specific phrase 13/52 on the defendant's gun?
It is, yes.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the rifle as it states at 342. Do you recognize that? And when do you recognize that?
This was the firearm that was collected from Apalachee High School on September 4th.
Your Honor, this time I'll introduce some evidence states at 342.
Alan, any objection? It's admitted.
Okay. Can you show us where on the defendant's rifle this 1352 was written?
So this is upside down, but it's written right here.
And it appears to be kind of black on black, like it was written in black, or it's a black writing on top of a black gun?
That's correct.
Okay. Does that make it a little bit difficult to see in a photo?
It does.
Because of that, were you able to, on the PowerPoint, trace it to make it more visible?
I did do that to make it easier. It's a little bit more visible in person rather than in a photograph.
Okay. And does this trace the 52?
It does.
52? Okay. In addition to having the exact same phrase that Gendron had on his gun, does the defendant have other things written on his gun?
He does.
Okay. And again, is it kind of black on black, so a little difficult to see?
That's correct.
The first phrase to the left, again, we'll trace it, but can you tell the court what that says?
Yes, it's a /CM /, and then there's an emoji that he used a lot in his Discord messages, /R9K /, and this would have been located right here.
Okay. And based on your research, training, experience, does this appear to be a reference to something in particular?
Yes, so in reference to the CM, cute male / with the emoji, and then /R9K, which was a popular 4chan chat room, similar to like the Discord stuff.
And is that like a chat room that the TCC was involved with? Or-
Yes, like-minded individuals with violent urges to talk about ordinary people.
And then also up here on the top right, what was the writing on that part of the gun?
This is just a heart with an exclamation point, and it's right here.
Okay. And then our final writing on the gun, where is that located?
It's in between the 1352 and the heart with the exclamation point, so it's right here on the gun. And it's 38/PM, which is a reference to the Sandy Hook shooter, meaning 38 rounds per minute.
Is that approximately how many rounds that it's alleged that he shot?
Yes.
All right, so now we're moving to the final mass shooter that the defendant idolized, and who is that?
Can we put this back over here? Thank you. And that was the Aurora Theater shooter.
Okay. And that was in Colorado?
Yes.
Okay. So again, we'll first start with some of his evidence of obsession with this individual. Did he have photos saved on his phone in Discord similar to the other mass shooters that he idolized?
Yes, he did.
Okay. That bottom right drawing, is that an example of fan art?
Yeah, it can be, yes.
Okay. And what is this a reference to?
This is another phone note from August 9th of 2024, so a little less than a month before the school shooting. And there wasn't a title, and it says, "Hi, James, sorry, this is almost surreal for me, ha. I debated sending a letter because I kind of figured it'd just be denied, but here we are. So how are you? You okay? I'll try to be as pure, but Allenwood has quite a lot of regulations as far as mail goes, so please."
So this appeared to be like a draft of an email he was going to send to Holmes.
Yes.
And did it appear they ever actually wrote an email to him?
No, he did not, but he did do research as to what facility he was at and saved a screenshot of where to send mail to.
Did the defendant also do a lot of research on James Holmes?
Yes, he did.
Okay, tell us about that.
There were journal pages from the shooter. There were prison records related to the shooter. Viewed a documentary related to the psychiatric evaluation of the shooter. He Googled James Holmes gear, saved numerous photos of the shooter, and post-shooting had numerous conversations from custody about the Aurora Theater shooter.
So post September 4th, did his obsession kind of shift from Cruz being his main obsession to Holmes being the main obsession?
It appeared that way.
Okay. Right. Are there any jail calls between the defendant and his mother related to this obsession with Holmes?
Yes.
Okay. And this is from November 6th of 2024, and it states Exhibit 301.
That's right. Oh yeah, also tell Caitlin about infatuation with Holmes. I've been looking into his case a lot recently, and I found a lot of things that connect with me and him.
The word.
You got something to write down just so you know what to bring up?
I'm typing it.
Alright, and also that in the back I switched a bunch, but I feel like this one's kind of permanent, like with him. Like I haven't felt this kind of way before. Caitlin, also.
And does he have another call with his mother about Holmes?
Yes, this one is from December 3rd of 2024.
This is State Exhibit 318, so we'll go ahead and play that.
There's a couple, here's one of him, it's not that so like he's done. There's like some kind of little, like a computer screen or something, like an old school screen behind it.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I want that one.
Right on. And he's got like black, blocked out eyes.
Sometimes he took that one right the night right before he left for the theater.
Okay. But he wearing like some crazy contacts or something. That's why he got it.
Do you like his red contacts, by the way? I think they look cool. Do you like his contacts, by the way? I think they're
yeah, I think they're really cool. Kind of freaky, but they do look cool. Okay. Just looking for any other ones that would not set off the alarm bell.
I think those were the main kind of included ones that weren't mainstream.
So talking a little bit more about that, the defendant references, I want that one. Is there an indication from these jail calls that the defendant's mother is actually bringing him pictures of Holmes?
Yes, it seems that way.
Okay. And she also mentioned setting off alarm bells. Is that something that she's not supposed to do?
That's correct.
And is it, I guess, are pictures screened at the YDC?
Yes.
All right. In addition to these phone calls, did the defendant make any edits of Holmes like he did of Cruz?
He did.
Okay. And is this one of those edits that he made?
It was, and this one was a few days prior to the shooting and was shared with Mandy on Discord.
I be popping bottles, sparkles and champagne. VIP my section, royalty looking sexy, you know that be my name.
Did the defendant, again, did he mimic Holmes just like he's done with all these other mass shooters?
Yes,
Okay. And did he mimic photos?
he did.
Okay. We'll start with this first one.
The photo on the left-hand side is the Aurora Theater shooter, and this photo was shared with Mandy on Discord a couple days prior to the shooting, and the one on the right is of the defendant and was shared with Mandy on Discord on September 2nd of 2024.
Okay. And then tell us about this also from September 2nd of 2024.
So this is a Discord chat in reference to the photographs, and he says, James Holmes sheets, red silk.
And in addition to having these pictures showing the defendant with red sheets and James Holmes with red sheets, do him and his mother also talk about these red sheets on a jail call?
They do.
Okay. And what's the date of that phone call?
A call on December 3rd of 2024.
So now we're at 3 months after the shooting, and he is still talking about James Holmes. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and this is from State Exhibit 317.
Here's one of him with his armchair, and it looks like he's laying in a bed, and he's got earbuds
Yeah, I don't want that one, yeah, that one.
with the tongue sticking out.
That image was actually what inspired me to get my run sheet.
Really?
Yeah, if you guys
Oh my God, sure looks
It's like
like
it is the apartment crime scene photo, so you can go out and do, so that's why.
Oh my God.
All right, and our next evidence of mimicry goes to, again, the defendant mimicking more journal entries, but these are of Holmes.
That's correct.
Let's start with what he says on August 30th related to Holmes's journal.
So he says he wrote "why" 247 times exactly, think, in his journal.
Right, so on the left here, we have Holmes's actual journal, is that correct?
That's correct.
And did the defendant have that on his phone, on his Discord?
He did have it on his phone and shared it with Mandy on Discord on August 30th.
And did he share that in relation to when he was talking about how he wrote "why" 247 times?
Yes, he attached that photograph.
So on the right, what do we have?
On the right, this is a page from a binder that was at the school on the day of the shooting, and the word "why" is written out numerous times.
This appeared to mimic the defendant's journal. Does it appear to mimic Holmes's journal?
Yes, it does.
And based on your training and experience and kind of your research into this case, what would be the purpose of someone having the exact same journal as another mass shooter?
Just trying to gain traction within the TCEC, or just to show some sort of unhealthy admiration of a mass shooter.
Moving to our next journal entry, tell us about this.
This is another entry from the Aurora Theater Shooters Journal that was saved and shared on Discord on the same date. And then the one on the right is from the defendant's binder that was at the school. And you can see similarities in the way the number 1 and the infinity symbol was drawn with a circle around it. It's similar in both of them.
Okay. And again, was this the notebook that was found at the school that was specifically left behind by the defendant to be found?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, now we're moving to the defendant mimicking another mass shooter's interview, which would be Holmes's. Did he also have a knowledge of this mass shooter's interview as well?
Yes,
Okay. And did he write about that in Discord?
he did.
Okay, so on August 29th of 2024, Mandy says James Holmes.
And he responds, "Yep, I get the urge to watch his interviews every now and then."
And also, we previously listened to a jail call where he talked about watching his psychiatric evaluation, multiple hours of it, correct?
Yes.
All right, so starting with the defendant's interview, we'll play a little clip of that.
I tried to call the hotline in the bathroom, but it didn't go through.
So at the very beginning of the interview, he talks about trying to call a hotline in the bathroom. Does the Aurora theater shooter also talk about calling a hotline?
Yes, in his psychiatric evaluation, which the defendant Googled and watched, it says, called the mental health hotline at 12:30 a.m. from his car right before the shooting, claiming, "I called for one last chance to turn back."
So the defendant talks about him calling it from the bathroom. Was the bathroom the defendant's staging area for getting ready for the shooting?
It was.
And then he also talks about in reference, basically, this was when he was trying not to do the shooting.
Yes.
Is that similar to the Aurora theater shooter and he was trying to call the hotline in an attempt, like one last chance to not commit the shooting?
Yes.
Did he also call from his staging area, which was the car?
The Aurora theater shooter, yes.
Okay. So obviously there's a large similarity between those two. did you review the defendant's phone to look for whether or not he did in fact call a hotline or attempt to call a hotline?
I did. We received call detail records from all the phone numbers that were used by the defendant and the physical phone itself, and there were no attempts to call a hotline.
Okay. All right. And then we're going to move to the defendant's mimicking Holmes's mental illness. So we're going to start with another journal entry from the Aurora Theater shooter. And kind of what is he doing in this journal entry?
At the top, it's listed self-diagnosis of broken mind. So he's writing out things I would assume he thinks he has, and schizophrenia is listed as one of them.
And did the defendant share this particular journal entry with Mandy as well on Discord?
He did on August 30th of 2024.
Okay. And around, I guess, within a few hours of sharing that, did he also talk to Mandy about himself having schizophrenia?
He did.
Okay, and can you take us through what he said?
He said, I have the paranoid whispers, urges, James Holmes schizophrenia.
I had that too at one point, like homicidal thoughts, urges, and whispers.
It's gotten really bad, and they take advantage over my love for Nick. Things like, do it for Nick, what would Nick do? Coward.
Did the defendant also have sort of like a list of what he believed he had?
Yes, this was a photograph that was saved to his cell phone, and the picture in the middle is of the defendant.
Is he diagnosing himself with similar schizotypal or schizoid, sort of the schizophrenia related terms?
Yes.
Okay. Now moving to September 3rd, the day before the shooting, does he then talk about this sort of delusions or schizophrenia?
He does.
Take us through what he said.
He said, I'm nervous about my teachers. They're after me, dude, and it's not schizophrenia. I feel like I was simply placed there at the school by, I don't know, some facility.
YK, how that sounds.
It's true, Mandy.
Are you sure?
I'm not making this up.
And in his interview with Jason Smith at Apalachee High School, does he bring up this idea of a facility and also how it's not schizophrenia?
He does mention both of those things.
Okay, we're going to play a quick clip of that.
Did you destroy your computer today?
I thought they were inside my computer and they were working with some facility that was after me.
Somebody was after you?
Yeah, and it's not schizophrenia either.
And then him and Mandy talk further about this idea of somebody being after him. Also on September 3rd, she asks, who is the facility? And what does he say?
Something I feel like was after James, and now it's after me.
And is he referring to James Holmes?
He is.
And then Mandy says, I don't mean to be that person, and like I do believe in some conspiracies, but there's no organized group after you.
I swear, dude, like the FBI drives past me every time I'm out.
In Holmes's interview or in his psychiatric evaluations that the defendant watched, did Holmes also talk about the FBI being after him and cars driving by his house?
Yes, in the exact same way.
Okay. All right, and here's our final kind of Discord clip about this. This is also from September 3rd. Take us through this one.
He says, I don't know what they or the facility wants from me. I think I'm going to try calling the hotline tomorrow.
Hotline, which hotline, what facility?
I don't know, crisis hotline.
And again, does a reference back to Holmes calling a hotline.
Yes, it does.
So that ends our discussion of his idolization of mass shooters. What's kind of the next evidence we're going to talk about?
Planning a mass shooting.
Okay. And in talking about planning a mass shooting, what's the first type of evidence we're going to present?
Discord messages dating back to 2023.
Okay. And I think Dr. Richards talked about this, and then the defendant talked about it in his interview, but was the defendant investigated by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office in May of 2023 related to making school shooter threats on Discord?
He was.
At the conclusion of that investigation, what happened?
Colt denied being on Discord or using that, saying someone hacked his account, and ultimately there was nothing further from that.
In investigating the Apalachee school shooting, did the investigation entail getting the actual records from May of 2023?
Yes.
And was the defendant the actual person who did, in fact, make school shooter threats in May of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And do we have those particular threats that he made produced here on this PowerPoint?
We do.
So we're going to start with from May 20th of 2023. Where is he making these threats?
On Discord in a server, so it's similar to what a group chat would be like. So several people can be part of the chat at the same time.
And was it someone from that chat who ultimately reported him to the FBI?
Yes.
Okay. And take us through what he said.
So this was May 20th of 2023. I have a Bushmaster coming in today, the shotgun, me and Smiggles. I need ideas for where to shoot. A targeting and elementary. I'm saving them from a life of suffering, as Adam put it. And that's referring back to the Sandy Hook shooter.
Okay. And we're moving still on May 20th.
And the thing with elementary schools is that it's easy, and I have a reason. Little kids, I'm saving them. Easy kills if you can aim right.
And here are some more threats. Also from May 20th.
He says, I'm committing a mass shooting, and I'm waiting a good 2 to 3 years, exactly. I can't kill myself yet because I'm not contributing anything to culture. I need to go out knowing I did.
And then it looks like Love Letter responded, OMG, have people idolize you and read what you wrote and everything you did. That's a good way to die, knowing you left your mark.
Right? And most people don't understand that.
And then this kind of final one.
He says, women simp over mass shooters.
Is this kind of in relation to why someone might commit a mass shooting?
Yes, just to kind of have that unhealthy obsession over them.
All right, so in addition to making these threats on the server, did he also specifically talk to Smiggles, another user, about committing a school shooting in May of 2023?
Yes, he did.
Okay. All right, so let's talk through some of those threats that or planning that he did with Smiggles. And this is from May 18th of 2023.
Yes, so this was 2 days before the server chat room. He says, do you want me to wait on you for the massacre that I planned or nah? Because I'm doing it in like 2 to 3 years, but I can wait. What would our target be though? Yeah, should we go school related or like a mall or right? And again on the 18th, how should we position ourselves when we kill ourselves? Should we sit together or what? No cringe intended. I wish we would have more time. Dylan and Eric were walking around for like an hour.
And then Smiggles responds, me too, things were easier back then. How many do you think we can kill?
If we are quick, maybe 30 max, sadly with how quick police are. On the 18th, continuing, I think I'm going to go get a VR tomorrow and download some mass shooting maps. And then on the 19th, probably going to go pick up my VR today.
And Smiggles says, yep, I sadly do.
Practice routes for my little massacre.
Smiggles replies, yeah.
It's kind of scary how unaware people are when people like us lurk in front of you every day.
And then now we're moving to August to September of 2024 when he's using his occasional burner Discord account and talking to Mandy. Is there other evidence of him planning a mass shooting when talking to her?
Yes.
Okay.
And starting on August 28th, he says, wait till they buzz was me in prison. And then on the 31st of August, because if I'm in prison, I'm writing back to every single one of them. And then on September 1st, even if you even care, Mandy, you have to write me if I ever get sent to prison.
And she says, why would you go to prison, buddy? So again, is this in the planning section because he is planning on going to prison and planning on surviving whatever he does?
Yes, that's correct.
And here is another discussion with Mandy about September 4th.
Yeah, so these were on September 1st, so 3 days before the shooting. Mandy, I can't wait. 3 days, Nick is going to be in love with us.
WIM.
Surprise.
Oh, I'm dumb, September 4th. What are you going to do?
Nothing.
Tell me.
I'll text you at 9.
In addition to having these Discord records where he's talking about planning a school shooting, does he also talk about it on his phone just in a notes section?
Yes, he does.
Okay. So starting with these two notes, kind of what are these in reference to?
These are both in reference to ammunition. So on the left-hand side, this was titled Math ? From April 2nd of 2024. It says 50 count box of 223s is $30. 50 times 3 equals 150 rounds. 30 times 3 equals $90. Oh, so expensive. So 3 50 round boxes is $90. And on the right-hand side, the creation date was August 3rd of 2024, titled Ugh. It says, I swear to God, I'm seriously about to do it. Once I get 150 rounds, I'm doing it. I don't care anymore. I'm waiting until February. This is it. I'm doing it within a month from now.
Okay, and then, so that was modified on August 7th. Does he text his father about that 150 round number?
Yes, 3 days later from that modification date on the note, he texts his dad, could you stop by Academy and pick up a 150 round pack of 5.56? If they don't have any 5.56, 223 will do.
Okay. And then now we're moving to more phone notes, kind of planning what he's going to do. Can you take us through these?
The one on the left is April 27th of 2024, and it says, I hate my generation. I hate it. I really do. Please kill me. I hate everyone and everything. I can't function knowing these people exist. Why is no one dead? Dear God, why is no one dead? Until that day in that classroom, everyone's dead.
And this is approximately 4 months before he actually commits the shooting.
Yes, and that one was titled Poem. On the right-hand side, this one's titled Anger 1. This was created on May 16th of 2024. It says, why am I choosing to do it now? Because it's my only chance to strike on a generation I oh so dearly hate the most. I hate it. Why wasn't I born in the early 1900s? I spent hours on Fallout fantasizing about being in that era, that generation. Everyone was so formal compared to.
And we've got some more phone notes from May 17th and May 18th.
Yes, so May 17th, titled Anger 2. God, I hate it. I hate it. Why are people my age so different? Like, I genuinely wonder why I'm choosing to do it so early, and that's just it. Why let them grow into society only to make it worse? And the title, Pleading 1, on the 18th of May of 2024. Everything is crashing. What it is, I don't know. Why was I what? I can't stop it. There's no stopping it. It's pointless. I should just kill myself and let it end there. But no, I'm being pushed into this. Why? And when it finally happens.
Okay. Now we're moving to July 24th of 2024, a little over a month before the shooting.
This one's titled Longer. Guys, I don't think I can do this for much longer. I've had multiple panic attacks within the span of like 2 days. I genuinely don't have the strength to make it to February. My homicidal tendencies are growing rapidly. It's over. I lost.
And then here is another note from July 31st of 2024.
It states high school it is.
All right. What is the significance of July 31st?
In reviewing all the evidence in compilation that was collected during the school shooting investigation. It was determined that he was trying to go back into 8th grade for that beginning of that school year, and a phone call was made to the school at the end of July, and he had to be enrolled in the high school.
So July 31st, when he wrote high school that's the day that he found out he would be in high school.
That's correct.
All right, and then we're going to move to these last notes in relation to Colin Gray. Can you tell us what he writes here?
On July 4th of 2024, it's titled Dad, and it says, I swear to God, my dad might end up as one of the victims. These final few months have been hell and will be hell, living with this whiny, narcissistic, self-centered, childish 54 years old, by the way. If he doesn't end up dead, I ask that the system up. Thanks.
Okay. And then does he later change his kind of tune about what he wants to see happen to his dad?
Yes, on the 26th of August of 2024, it's titled For Text, and it says, it was not, and I mean it was not the negligence of my father. It is well documented that I was the one who set out to kill. I threatened my dad on multiple occasions whenever he would take my guns. He was scared. He knew I wouldn't be able to control myself, and I would only put him and my siblings at risk. He was cornered. Well, he should have just called 911. And risk having a hostage situation, a familicide, a shootout with the police. So do not charge him, as you know, just as much as everyone else. It would be unconstitutional. The Crumbly parents had a petite little angel who they could have easily taken to a mental hospital. No threats or acts of domestic there. My dad tried, but was only met with more threats and risks from me. That is all I have to say. Sunday, August 25th, 2024.
So this is 9 days before he commits the shooting, and it appears he's attempting to cover for or planning to cover for his dad. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And does he continue that narrative when he talks to police after he commits the shooting?
Yes, he does.
Okay. We're going to play kind of a clip from his interview where he does attempt to cover for his dad. Can you tell us about the pictures that are going to show up on the screen as we're playing that interview?
So going through the defendant's cell phone extraction, there are numerous photos of himself with 2 different types of guns in his possession in his room, along with boxes of ammunition, magazines, and it was from a period of time in these particular photos dating back to the beginning of August until the day of the shooting. There were several others found before he even dyed his hair, dating back to May, in which he had photographs of himself with weapons in his room.
So all of these photos would be, or most of these photos would be from approximately August to September, where essentially the defendant says the guns were hidden from him. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so we're going to play that clip and show those photos that were found on the defendant's phone.
So you said you looked for a while for the gun today.
Yes, sir, because he hid it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't his fault because
Where did he normally keep it?
in his room.
Do you know where in his room?
I think it was his closet, but when I found it, I think it was in his toolbox. I can't remember. He definitely tried his hardest. I know he did.
Okay, but you told your dad. When did you tell your dad to move it? You said was it months ago or days ago?
It was like a month ago. I definitely been fighting this spot for so long. Oh my God, this is so dramatic. I know for all of you, I'm so sorry.
And you said you think it was in his toolbox?
I think it was, yes.
Okay.
It was somewhere really well hidden.
Okay. In reviewing the jail calls, did you find any calls where the defendant and his mother specifically talk about where the rifle was the morning of the shooting?
Yes.
Okay. And is that conversation inconsistent with what he told police?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And when's that conversation from?
December 7th of 2024.
Okay. And this is stated at 3:45. We're going to play this clip.
That'd be
All the huge neglecting shit that he put us through and all the like mental health shit that I told him about, you know, he's not taking the guns away. Like,
it's more than enough.
maybe I should say they weren't even put up. They were like, that rifle was in my room that morning. And it stayed in my room. Every single magazine, box of ammo, shotgun was all in my room that morning. And I actually went to his room and planted most of it there because I felt so bad about him possibly getting locked up.
Or did you not tell them that?
No, I'm on that.
If you need to tell them that stuff, you have to. That's what I told them. I told them that you had, that it was, your dad didn't put anything away. But, and the reason I told him that is because it pissed me off, because I had been telling him he needed to put all that shit in his truck for weeks. But anyway, we can't change it now, but.
Okay. So now, still in the line of talking about the defendant planning this mass shooting, in the actual execution of his shooting, did he imitate previous mass shooters?
Yes, he did.